Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, and I have emptied up my little altar space, and you can see kind of the tape where I keep I keep this over it. I keep it up with duct tape. I don't know, so professional. But hey, it's real. It's just the way things are at this moment in time. It is no disrespect to my craft. I take my craft seriously. It's just use what you got, especially when you've got a cat and you want to keep him off of this stuff. But that's not what you came here for. Now, I intend for this to be a kind of a shorter video, but we'll see. So, how I organize my writings for my craft and advice I can give to you. So, I've had over 15 years of experience. I am someone who loves to journal, I'm someone who loves to write, so it is quite easy for me to get into the swing of writing things down. I do it all the time. I have a diary and all of that. But the single most important type of writing equipment, other than pens and pencils, you can have is this: a simple pad of writing paper. Just the ones with lines. This is the stuff that is, it's just easy to tear out like that you put in a file. Or you can also have it in this style. It's gone a bit damp up here from leaning on something. But yeah, this is just a pad of normal spiral bound notebook paper. Other people also call them college bound. Now this one is great because it also has this bit here that I can just gently pull it out and put into my file if I want to do that. But I mainly keep this for note-taking, not for permanent or semi-permanent entries in my Book of Shadows folder edition, which I'll get to in a second. So here I have got tarot stuff, and I've got, what else have I got in here? I have just whatever I felt like I needed to write down. Like if I'm watching stuff on YouTube and I go, that's a great idea, I'll note it down in here. I also have here witchy spiritual meanings of what's in my kitchen at the time. So I've just got a whole list of stuff that was in my kitchen, like tomatoes or chickpeas or cucumber, and a very brief summary of what kind of things they're associated with because I'm a kitchen witch. And then I watch tarot videos and oracle videos on YouTube. So if there's something that I feel called to, but I want to remember later, I'll just messily write that down in points. And then if I'm watching stuff, I go, ooh, this is really interesting, note it down to research later. Like, ooh, I really want to look into the mythology of golems. I really want to look up any archived occult and witchcraft magazines. Oh, I really want to focus more into the studying of funeral rites, burial rites, trees, stuff like that I've got written down here. So that kind of spiral bound notebook is perfect for writing everything down. You don't need a fancy journal, all the gilded pages, well painted, pressed flowers. Of course, I mean, most of us do strive to have something really pretty like that, especially when you're more art focused like I am. But really, just getting the information down anywhere you can is important. It's the best thing you can do. You can always make it prettier later down the line, or don't. Some people just stick to this kind of stuff and leave it as that. Or if you don't want paper, you can have it digital. You can keep it on your phone. You can keep it on your computer. I have one myself, but I don't really use digital that much. I write on my computer a lot, but I don't keep a digital grimoire that much. But I kind of just keep it in the folders like you see on the screen here. And yeah, I get to it when I get to it. But where I normally keep my information is in journals like this. Now this one hasn't been used yet because I'm working on another one. But these are just plain journals. They used to have this kind of gray, like, appearance to it, but they've changed it. These are the types you get at Astor. I believe Walmart has the same. They're just lined books, and they're amazing for just getting it down in a little bit neater. Like it's just a convenient book. They used to be a lot thicker for the same price, £5, but yeah, things change. And then you can also write in these kinds of things. This is just, I haven't used this one yet because I forgot I had it, as I said in my other video, if you've watched it. And it's just plain paper, but because of how thin it is, because it's just super thin, I can just use biros on it. But yeah, stuff like that as well, if you don't have access to these kinds of things. These are just cheap plain paper journals that Lidl sometimes sells, if that's helpful to you, if you have one where you live. But my current journal is this. I've had this shiny journal for a long time, and I mean years and years, and I just didn't know what to use it for. But as you can see, I'm not all the way done with it. But because it's elastic, there's quite a lot of flex for here. And I keep everything in here. Day-to-day thoughts, spells, correlations, information I've had with people I've communicated with, all sorts of stuff on here. Like this one entry I'm not going to show you, I literally titled it, "Pick Yourself, Fuck the Rest," because I was just frustrated at myself for putting myself second. But honestly, just put what you want to hear. Like my common kind of like witchy diary entries are called witchy musings. And these are super personal, so I'm not going to show you any. But I also will just stick other things in here. Like in here, I've just got a piece of paper folded up. So if you like art journaling, absolutely utilize that in your craft if you want to and if you can. Yeah, my entry is just that, my name on it and everything. I'm not a big fan of how this came out, but this, yeah, and that's my age, 28. I don't know why I felt the need to do that, but this I just let be my thought dump. I think some people call those your book of mirrors. Don't quote me on that. I'm not Wiccan, but I believe that does come from the Wiccan community. But whatever, a book of reflections, a book of whatever you want. Like you can keep your charts about astrology and your correlations and your offerings to gods in the same book as just a thought dump. It really doesn't matter. There is no rules really. You can make it however you want. And when it comes to files, I have this one. This one's gorgeous. I love the cranes. The crane means so much to me. And in here, I've just got study notes, ideas, stuff like that I want to look at later, that I don't necessarily want to carry on into my craft. So instead of it just being a list of information that I will use, a spell, a prayer, something like that, it is things that I want to look up, or there are things that I have studied that I may or may not use. And this one has nothing in it, but this, oh, it's one of my favorite colors. I absolutely love this color. But this will be my file version of a Book of Shadows grimoire, spiritual journal, well, not really journal, spiritual information, whatever you want to call it, right? I just say Book of Shadows because it's the one term that most people in the modern witchcraft community understand. But this will be jam-packed full of information that is 100% relevant to my craft. Now, you don't need to separate the ideas from the things that you know that you're going to keep, especially if you're new. Just put it all in one folder. You don't need to keep splitting it up into everything. That's just how I do things. Now here, we're getting into the stuff you absolutely do not need to do. This is an art grimoire. This was actually part of a really crappy diorama thing that I did years ago. But I really love this color and it's still super relevant to me, so I've kept it. Now the title page I want to change, so I'm not showing that to you. But then I just got this. Now when it says the witch's way, it means my way. Like this is the witch's way, me as an individual. Now you probably can't read that, but it's just kind of be yourself at all times. You are different from others for a reason. Magic is a powerful tool. Be wise in how you use it. Never use it to harm the innocent, and going on for that. Pretty much, it's how I use my craft, and I want it to be the first thing in here, because if I share this with someone else, I want them to know that's what my beliefs are. But I probably won't share it with anyone else, let's be real. But you don't need, this is an artisan notebook. You don't need to use sketchbooks. You can just use college notebooks and the cheap journals you get from the supermarket. You really don't need fancy stuff. It is not an insult to your gods. It's not an insult to your craft, and it's definitely not an insult to yourself to use things that are cheaper if that feels better for you, because it's less intimidating to mess up a page in a college notebook than it is in, well, what I'm going to show you now. Is there any space for this? Yes, there is. Something handmade. You do not need this. I made it in 2022 and then changed the painting on the cover in 2023 because I love to craft. I am an arts and crafts focused person. Artist is a title that I'm more than happy to use. I am very much so into arts of all kinds. And this baby is not perfect, but she's mine. And even though I decorated the back a long time ago, the storm, the fire, the dragon eye, the mortar and pestle, and the skull are still super relevant. And this gold and green snake pattern is more fun to me now than it ever has been, but that's for another time. Now, I'll be honest, there's nothing in here because there was a few pages I had done in the past, but I took them out, and I had this horrible habit. See how big she is. You do not need this. It's just something I super want. But before I get into it, I'll just say it is easier to mess up a college notebook that cost you maybe $1, $2 than it is to mess up something that cost, well, this cost me, in terms of the materials I bought, because obviously I'm not just going to get 2 pieces of this hard card and just 1 piece of this and so on and so on. Including all of the materials, this cost me £100 to make. A little bit intimidating, but I'm teaching myself to not be a perfectionist. If it's rough, if I've had to cover stuff up, if I've had to Tipex things out, that's fine because it's mine and nobody but me needs to look at this. But yeah, if I ever start like a coven or anything, I probably won't. I don't intend to at this time of recording, but who knows what the future holds. Then this can be my book to look at. But I mainly just want this to be kind of, how do I put it? My, I don't know, kind of like this is my art, this is my craft, quite literally my craft, and is something I want to do in dedication to my path, if that makes sense. You don't need to do that, that's super intimidating. But this is mixed media sketchbook paper. There was originally over 500 pages in here. I think there's like 490 odd now. Super intimidating work, and you don't need to do it. But because it's something that I'm going to work on, I wanted to share that with you. And when it comes to certain entries, I can't share that with you ever because it's super personal to me. However, if there is stuff in it I can share with you, I will do that in the future if you're interested in that. Sorry, my hair is a mess. I just thought I'd put it in front of my face because I felt like it. But yeah, that is a brief overview of how you can organize stuff, how I organize stuff. And yeah, if you have any questions though, leave them in the comments, and if it's something I can answer, I'll be more than happy to. Thank you for watching. Take care, stay safe, and many blessings to you and yours.